Alrighty, so this is Diesel We the People News. Okay, now this one came off at MEL, other name GOOLSBY, 67K views. Yay! Alrighty, so this is still another take, another person on the same case. Okay, however, the verdict is what I want to highlight in this case because it was so low. But I'm Diesel We the People News. Okay, not an attorney, not giving legal advice. Anything I say or do is not. So do not take it and misconstrue if I may make some type of sound claim. Still not legal advice. People, do your own research. Never look straight forward. Always look around you. Be able to protect yourself by any means necessary. All right. Let's hear what the verdict said. By the way, y'all, you want me to be on the jury. And people like me on the jury.
In the matter of the state of Florida versus Calvin Riley, case number 2023-CT-854, we, the jury, finds as follows as to count one of the information, driving under the influence. The defendant, Calvin Riley, is guilty. Associated with all this 8th day of April 2024.
And then Calvin also...
All right. So they found him guilty. But how did they come up with that collusion? You got to sit and think about it. They particularly already had some form of mindset. All right. Cognitive dissonance. All right. Something seems like it was out of place. But we got to believe the officers that he was driving under the influence. With what evidence, people? It's so tricky to actually get a good jury or grand jury members if you don't even know the basics of law. Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm going to rewind this all the way around, but I wanted to kind of highlight that part right there.
I'm not a lawyer, but I watched the final day of trial for the state of Florida versus Calvin Riley. So let me recap how it went. If you haven't watched my other 3 videos on this case, you have to start there so that you understand what's happening, because I'm just going to dive right in. Okay, so the second officer that arrived on the scene that night, Officer Muth, is called to the stand. And the state walks her through her version of what happened. And they also played the video from her body-worn camera. But the audio is really bad from the camera. So I'm going to play some pieces of that, and then I'll play the question and answers that are given in court regarding the footage.
That's another thing right there, y'all. We're on YouTube, we're watching these videos and all that kind of stuff. They cannot produce a better quality sound video in that courtroom? Are you freaking kidding me? Why does it sound like this?
Officer, in the video on screen as we see it right now, can you see a wristband on the defendant's wrist? It looks like a blue wristband, yes. Can you tell the jury what a wristband indicates during a DUI investigation? Wristbands are given out at bars.
We're going to pause right there right quick, right? Was that in evidence? Was that wristband in evidence? Okay, we have not been clearly established. Again, I haven't watched the whole thing, but it's questions, right? Was that wristband in evidence? And is it probable that he could have came from the hospital? Of course, he made a claim that he was at the bar and all that kind of stuff. But if he just kept his mouth shut and actually did the Fifth Amendment, especially when he already said, well, I'm not going to do anything without an attorney. Well, you already made a claim, buddy. You told him he was at a bar. People, let that be your learning experience, okay? This educational purposes only, okay? Keep your mouth shut. He invoked, at least with the attorney on doing the sobriety deal, but he let him know that he came from the bar. Now, I'm going to tell you, I used to go to the bar fairly often on the weekend. And but I drank sodas. I had a CDL. So even some people can go to the bar and actually do it without drinking. That being said, I can go with the reasonable under everybody else's outlook. Okay.
Yes, sir.
0% financing for 84 months and 0 down available. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more.
Officer, we just saw the search of the defendant's vehicle. Can you tell us what was found in the vehicle?
There was an open Tervis that contained an alcoholic beverage located in the cup holder of the center console. And then Officer Oliver found the bottle of vodka.
Did Officer Oliver ever say anything to you about the bottle of alcohol being opened or closed?
No.
Did this bottle, open or not, come into your decision to arrest the defendant for driving under the influence?
No.
In DUI investigations, if you find an open container that has something that smells like alcohol and then something that is sealed, does that indicate anything to you?
Yes, so the open Tervis in the center console indicates that they were actively drinking and driving. The bottle of liquor found indicates that once they were done finishing the drink in the center console, maybe they opened the bottle and refilled their drink.
Perjury. Perjury. Gotta breathe. Okay. Was that glass in that container tested for alcohol? Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? Was it tested?
What the defendant told you, was he confused about who stopped him?
Yes, he thought it was Officer Oliver there, and I was the one that had stopped him.
What does signs of confusion indicate in a DUI suspect?
That their wits are not with them. Drinking affects memory, how you talk to people, how you interact with people.
I might have got them confused too. I ain't gonna lie.
Now I'm going to return back to the video.
Me too. I think she's been drinking. She's under the influence. I think they need to go ahead and arrest her. Public intoxication in the courtroom. By the way, on the first video, I told you there was no slur of speech whatsoever. We're going to go back with the first area charge would be driving without a license. So since the first area charge was dismissed, then that drops the whole case. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not making a legal determination. So the influence is a DWI would be a secondary charge. Okay? But again, if they didn't provide the evidence for the court there was alcohol in that, and he was a big boy. So even if he had 2 drinks, that does not make him influenced. He could still be under the gill. Because it goes by body weight a lot of times, y'all. If I drink 1, I'm considered, if I breathe the test, I considered under the influence. But my wife drinks, she's a bigger girl than I am. She could drink 3 and wouldn't be under the influence. Just saying. When you do this, y'all, and I'm stopping so many off, when you do that, you can be belligerent, okay? But also deny your claim. I deny your claim. Using words. I deny your claim.
Officer, it looks like you're about to read something to the defendant. Can you tell us what that is?
It's the implied consent. So when you get a license in Florida, you sign a bunch of paperwork. Implied consent is one of them, that if a police officer ever requests that you take a breath test, it's implied that you do.
When you ask,
Okay, listen to that too. Everybody who's got a driver's license, you give implied consent. Okay, however, I'm led to believe, and I'm not an attorney, okay, once my license has been suspended or I never renewed, the quasi-contract is pretty much void, right? Unless you clean it up and you reissue and re-sign that quasi-contract. People's going to argue with me about it. I'm still under the belief that once the contract's been voided, it's in limbo until you go in there and reissue it.
the defendant initially, if he would take a breath test, what did he do?
He just started yelling at me.
Okay.
Now, you can't blame him there, right? They just made a claim just before this that they smelled weed on him. All right? He smelled like marijuana. Well, if he in fact has not done it, now he's outraged. Now he knows officers are making false claims. And now he's going like, hell no. No, I'm not going to comply to nothing. You already lied. You're a liar. I don't trust you. I'm going to speak to an attorney.
Officer, we just saw a conversation between you and Officer Oliver about the liquor bottle that was found in the vehicle. Did she ever say anything to you about the bottle being opened?
No.
Could you explain to us your thought process or why you have made a mistake saying it was open in your report?
Yes, I listed it in my report because I didn't want to look like I was hiding anything, and due to the open container of alcohol, the Tervis that was in the center console, I had just assumed that the vodka was open. You could hear me on my body camera say, when we were searching the car, when Officer Oliver found that bottle, I said, oh, that's probably what was in the cup in the center console.
So, would you agree that it was...
Remember, y'all, the juries are listening to all this absolute vague and ambiguous, absolutely claims here, or witness claims and all that, right? But they could not see past whatever they wanted to see. They just couldn't see it.
just an honest mistake?
Yes.
Would you consider that bottle of alcohol to be big evidence in your DUI investigation?
No.
What was the big evidence in your investigation?
My observations of the defendant.
Are an individual's admissions or confessions to drinking alcohol big in your investigation?
Yes.
Are a defendant's admissions to being at a bar big in your investigation?
Yes.
Okay, so direct examination wraps up, and then the defense gets up to do cross.
Officer Muth, in Florida, it is not against the law to drink alcohol, then drive. Is that right?
If you drink alcohol to the point that you're impaired, it's illegal.
Officer Oliver placed Mr. Riley in handcuffs.
Yes.
You placed him under arrest for driving while license suspended.
And DUI.
And that's your testimony here today?
Yes.
That you arrested him for, at that time, when he was placed in handcuffs, for driving while license suspended and DUI?
Yes.
Were you wearing a body-worn camera?
Yes.
And I'm gonna play it one more time to make sure we all heard it.
Officer Mick, now that you've watched Officer Oliver's body-worn camera of that interaction, isn't it right that you only told him he was arrested
And that judge right there should be disembarred. He should not be a judge. This shouldn't have gone this far.
for driving while license suspended or arrested?
Characterization of the evidence.
She can answer the question.
Sure, I said that. I'm not required to list out all of the charges he's under arrest for, and he had just refused the field sobriety exercises, so I thought he would infer that he was also under arrest for DUI in addition to the DWLSR.
Infer what he was arrested for? So at this point, the defense makes a motion to the judge for the driving with a suspended license charge to be dismissed, and the judge agrees. So now Calvin Riley is only facing the charge of a DUI.
I want to talk to you about the bottle of vodka. And you did use the
Now remember, they dismissed the case of driving without a license. Well, that was the first-degree charge. Okay, well, you got to have first-degree charge for the secondary charge. Allegedly. I'm not an attorney, not making legal determination, y'all.
Bottle as evidence. Like how I stated previously, we found it in the vehicle, so I listed it in my report because I didn't want to look like I was hiding anything.
But you used it as evidence.
The vodka bottle?
Yes.
No.
That's your testimony here today, that you did not use the vodka bottle as evidence.
Correct.
Your Honor, may I approach her with your deposition? Question. And in that report, you mentioned that a vodka bottle was found in a pouch on the driver's seat. Is that correct? Answer. Correct. Question. And you mentioned that because it was evidence. Answer. Yes. That's inconsistent with your testimony today.
Okay, you asked me about the vodka bottle, and I thought you meant it played into his evidence in his arrest, at the point the vodka bottle was found.
But you had automatically that vodka bottle was what was used in that cup.
Yes, which was in my end.
The state gets up and does a very brief redirect, and in it, the officer kind of ties up why she says Calvin was arrested that night.
Can you tell the jury why you believed you had probable cause to arrest him for DUI at that point?
Based on the totality of the circumstances, Officer Oliver had observed poor driving patterns, and then my own personal observations with the thick, slurred speech, watery, bloodshot eyes. He had said he was leaving a bar and said that he had consumed a couple of 2 beers there.
So both sides rest, they give closing arguments, and the jury is sent to deliberate, and a verdict is reached pretty quickly.
In the matter of
And again, where is the evidence, right? Did they produce the body cam of him weaving, or was it another lie? Because the officers are victorious on lying. I need to see the body cam of the evidence that's been against me. Always make the claim, if you're fighting anything in court, you want to see their dash cams, their body cams, anything with your case. Period. Always.
State of Florida versus Calvin Riley, case number 2023-CT-854. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 1 of the information driving under the influence. The defendant, Calvin Riley, is guilty. So stating all this 8th day of April 2024.
And then Calvin also gives
Responsibility for getting upset and that kind of emotion to get over like judgment or just being a person and staying calm. Like I stated before, I was only going through this emotional stuff because the past I've been through with law enforcement and what I started going through that night with these officers, it was just a repeat of what I experienced growing up here.
PTSD. All right, traumatic stress. I mean, I'm led to believe and do believe that other officers has lied to him before. And somehow or another, people go into jail. And then when the officers did the exact same thing, it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Again? This is happening to me again? Now, that being said, I don't have factual evidence. It's just my opinion.
And it made me very upset and angry. And if anyone was hurt in that moment, I apologize, but at the same time, I was hurt too.
And then here's how the judge sentenced him.
All right, I'm going to adjudicate you guilty as I did before. Sentence you to 6 months probation. As a condition of that probation, you'll do 10 days in the Leon County Jail. You'll also have to attend and complete DUI Level 1 schooling and counseling as recommended. 50 hours of community service. Your vehicle, if you own one, will be impounded for a period of 10 days. If you no longer own a vehicle, you just need to get a certification from the DHSMV saying that you no longer own the vehicle, and that can be waived. Your driver's license will be suspended for a period of 6 months. You'll need to attend and complete a victim awareness program. You will have alcohol conditions with random breath test once per month. And your probation can terminate early at the halfway point if you have completed all of your conditions.
Now, let me tell you a place I will never live.
Hear that? I hear that. It's what happens when you break a quasi-contract, people. And ignore your due process. Check out my other videos. You got to do your process and your due diligence. Period. And you got to stay on top of your attorney if you get an attorney. Again, I didn't watch the court, so I don't know how many ejections there is, but your attorney must eject fairly often through the court case. If they're not ejecting fairly often in through your court case, then your attorney's not doing something for you. All right, this will be People News. Bye, y'all.